Hey folks, Alex here, 95 to Freedom. In today's video, we're going to talk Wpay. What is this new fund from Roundhill? We'll talk what's going on with the market, an update on my portfolio, and my next steps and what I'm looking to do. If you're new to this channel, I document my journey achieving financial independence by utilizing high yield dividends from funds like Roundhill, Neos, YieldMax, and others. And these ETFs and these dividends are able to cover all my bills, all of my paycheck, and all my bills are out of my brokerage account. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you click that subscribe button and let's get right into it, folks. So today we saw a little bit of a pullback, folks. This is my account. As you can see here, we are down to 244,674. Now, what has changed since yesterday is that this morning I took out $2,500 out of this account. So the value of it did decrease by that, but we had slight pullback in the market today. As you can see here, in the news this morning or this afternoon, S&P 500, we are down 0.38%. Dow's down 0.2, NASDAQ down 0.67, Russell is down. Gold, folks, all-time high, over $4,000 an ounce, which is just insane. We also had a slip in Bitcoin. And today, Bitcoin slipped, let's see here, 2.42%. So we're at 125, and we slipped about 2.5% on Bitcoin. So, you know, I don't have a crystal ball, but I just happened to unload some of my portfolio yesterday. I'm not trying to take credit for anything, but I was looking to de-risk my portfolio. If you watched my video yesterday, I sold off some of my margin position. So that worked out pretty good for me. So my portfolio went down about $2,000 today. You can see in the after hours, it's up about $700. That will fluctuate. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the day. But as you can see, most of my positions were in the red, except the new position that I got, which is Wpay. So Wpay has been all the buzz on YouTube and across this whole dividend spectrum. You can see this fund just came out back in September at $51 a share. This is a fund of funds. So Roundhill has these weekly funds that are leveraged, that they do swaps on. These underliers, we can go here to the Roundhill holdings here for Wpay. You can see it has AMD, Hood, Coin, Apple, Nvidia, Berkshire, Microsoft, Tesla, Avgo, and Netflix. Now, AMD obviously had a huge run this week, so that really helped out this fund. So as you can see, distribution rate is at 68% per year, which is just bananas. Now, if I go to the Market Chameleon, one of my favorite websites here, this gives you the historical dividend payout. So this first payout was September 17th, it paid 54 cents. The next one was at 51 cents. The one after that was at 88 cents. And the one folks are getting tomorrow is at 73 cents. So I got into this position today. One of the reasons I got into it is, and I'll do a drum roll, is because this used to be 100% margin maintenance, but Robinhood has lowered it down to 30%. So margin maintenance is at 30%, which means that for those folks who are using margin, you won't be getting screwed with the 100% margin maintenance. If this doesn't make sense to you, what margin maintenance is, check out one of my videos that covers what margin maintenance is. Okay, so I got into Wpay. I bought 100 shares, which about $5,500, not much. But I wanted to track this. I'm not going to get tomorrow's dividend because today is ex-dividend. If I wanted the dividend, I should have bought this yesterday. But we did have the dip today. And yeah, we're going to keep an eye on it. At 30% margin maintenance, obviously now it's a little bit more lucrative. It doesn't take up all of your margin maintenance. Now, you can see here, this is from, this is in Robinhood. My margin maintenance requirement is $94,000, right? And then I have a buffer of roughly $149,000. And my portfolio represents $244,000. I'm using $132,000 on margin and I have available $285,000 in available margin. Now, if you guys watched yesterday's video, I talked about how I de-risk my portfolio. I used to carry about dollar for dollar in margin. So for every dollar invested, I borrowed a dollar. But I really ran this experiment long enough. I felt like I wanted to de-risk a little bit since we're at all-time high, and I didn't want to get wrecked in case we see a huge correction. So that's something to be wary of when using margin, and it's a thing, it's a tool. If you use it right, it can help boost your portfolio. If you use it wrong, you can get wiped out clean, and you will feel pretty bad about yourself. All right, but my annual rate is at 5%. Robinhood's one of the only brokers that provides that. I'll have my referral link in the description below if you want to switch over to Robinhood. If you use my referral link, you and I get a free share of stocks, so make sure you capitalize on that. Now, one thing I wanted to point out since we're here, folks, and I think this is very important. You can see that margin status is showing low risk. Now, low risk, I don't know how they calculate this, honestly, folks. I'm borrowing quite a bit, $132,000 on margin. And when I had $230,000 on margin, it was still showing low risk. So in a way, it's almost seems a little bit predatory. I feel like it's not really low risk, but this is what they're calculating. Your margin status indicates how close you are to margin call based on your margin buffer. The higher buffer percentage, the lower your risk of getting margin call. Lower risk greater than 5%, less than 5% higher risk. Margin buffer difference between your portfolio and the value of your margin maintenance requirement. Note that there's a minimum equity requirement of $2,000. So basically they're saying that anything over 5% in the buffer will put you at low risk. I don't know if I'd agree with that. I feel like this is... Man, it's like if they want to wipe you clean, this would be the thing that you want to put out here. Low risk for everything. And people go out and they'll borrow the rest of this $285,000, and then we have 20% correction, and they're wiped clean and they lose all their money. So I feel like Robinhood needs to do a little better job at advertising what risk level you have. I feel like it's being a little bit disingenuous. Okay, so we covered Wpay, right? So obviously a huge payout. You could see that tomorrow folks are going to get 73 cents a share on this. What are my thoughts on it? I mean, there's folks who are really excited about this. I mean, it's a fund to fund. So it's holding the ETFs that it already had, which were the weekly ETFs. Okay, so and they're kind of rotating between them. But these are all the W ones, okay? These are all those leveraged ones. And obviously with a leveraged ETF, whenever the underlier goes up, you're going to see a larger increase versus the underlier. But in an event it goes down, you'll obviously get some of that downwards movement that would be more than the underlier. Now, this does have some protective puts, all kind of stuff, but for me personally, what my initial thoughts about this, I'll just say what I like and what I don't like not really what I don't like, but what I'm being cautious about. What I like is they're not just paying you whatever they said they're going to pay you. So let's say they come up with this fund and they're going to say, we're always going to pay, I don't know, $1 every week, right? And then what's going to happen to your NAV, it's going to start eroding if it can't generate enough income. We see this fluctuation just in the 4 weeks that we saw this payout. We're fluctuating between 54 cents all the way to 88 cents. That's quite a bit of an increase. Look at that, 71% increase of your dividend. So that means when they're not generating enough, they're going to be decreasing. They're being flexible, and they're not promising you the moon, which I think is a huge plus for this fund of funds. Okay, I do like seeing that. The other thing I like is that they're flexible what they're holding. They're being upfront about it, and they're rotating through their holdings. Okay, The downside, obviously, folks, you're not buying S&P 500. Okay, you're not buying 500 companies. You're not buying NASDAQ. You're not buying 100 companies. You are buying leveraged products on these single stocks that have had stellar performance this year, so far. So that's the downside. Your diversification is low, and think of it a downside or upside is the fact that it's leveraged. So this could either hurt you more or it could profit you more. Okay, that being said, I do like that Robinhood finally decreased their margin maintenance on it. And I do like that it's from Roundhill. I feel like Roundhill deserves a lot more credibility than YieldMax. Okay, YieldMax, we've seen so many funds just go down like a ski slope. Okay, the NAV eroding, and folks have to continue to reinvest to actually keep up their NAV or to keep up their DCA down. And I don't like that. I think if you're buying a fund, you want to know that you can at least keep your NAV, even if it stays flat. You want it not to overpay. You don't want to see your account balance go down. You want it not to promise you the moon. And I think this is something that I want to watch closely. One of the reasons I bought 100 shares of it. I mean, it's not a lot. And thinking about it, like, what will this represent my portfolio in the future? Let's say we wait another month or two and we go to this market chameleon here. We get another 4 weeks of payments and we see continuous either flat or, just the performance we've been seeing so far obviously has been very bullish. Now we are at all-time high in the market, and 1 month we're up 5% on this thing, right? So I want to see either some fluctuation. I don't want it to go down below its initial inception price of $51. I'm okay, like, if this drops down to, I don't know, like $52 and then goes up to $53, but it continues to pay. And let's say that the payments aren't even consistent. Let's say they're going to hop around between 88 cents. Let's say it even goes down to 35 cents, whatever. I mean, obviously, like, let's be realistic. 68% in a year is ridiculous. Okay, if you can achieve that, that's phenomenal. Okay, so I like that it's diversified more than, say, like buying just into a single one, right? Like, you wouldn't put all your money into a single position. Let's say, my whole account, $240,000. I wouldn't just put it on NVIDIA, NVDW, and hope for the best. So I like that it's spread around all of these different holdings. So, but it's not diversified enough. So that comes back to the question. Okay, well, could this be like an Ulti replacement? And I think the answer is yes. I do like that it's a weekly payer. Okay, I like that it's not like a monthly or an annual or none of that stuff. We're getting paid every single Wednesday. For those folks who are looking for a Wednesday payer, pay attention. Now, let's see here. So Ulti, right? I mentioned maybe this could be an Ulti replacement. I have Ulti represents $31,000 of my portfolio. Okay, Ulti's been flapping around. I'm down 3.89% on it. But if something like Wpay can actually hold its NAV, I think I might say goodbye to Ulti at that point. While we're here, Bitcoin got beat up. YBTC's been really struggling with its NAV, folks. I'm down 7%. I'm not really happy. This one is from Roundhill. Kind of switching gears here. YBTC from Bitcoin. I don't know if it's overpaying or what's going on. Let's look at year to date. We're down 12%. Well, I guess it's been kind of flat since really May time, but it's been on a decrease. And my average, I guess, might be a little bit too high. My average price is at 47. Yeah, so I probably got into this around July timeframe, maybe towards the end of August. But really, Bitcoin was just up at $125,000 per Bitcoin. So I'm not sure why we didn't see a decent recovery in that. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Let's just compare that to NEOS. Look at this. NEOS is up 1.7% year to date. So I wish NEOS would be more of a weekly pair than monthly, but it is what it is. Okay, so that's what I got going on with my portfolio, folks. Again, I'm glad I de-risked a little bit. We'll see what happens. I mean, we might have another bullish run, but again, I don't want to be over leveraged. Really, what I'm thinking about, and let me know in the comments what you guys think. I really would like to lower my margin eventually. Like if I can build up my account to where, let's say I have $300,000 of my own money in here, and maybe I want to leverage like 25% of that, so like $100,000 on margin. I feel like I would sleep a little bit better. In the event of a correction, I think I'll do a lot better. And then I want to be diversified a little bit more into gold. I mean, gold's been great. I don't know if it's a bubble or not, but it's on days like today, you can see the contrast in performance. So that's one of the nice things with something like precious metal. You're able to see a rise. Now, obviously, we have this after hours drop. I don't know what that's all about, but it's been on a rise. Look at this performance for the past week. This is from NEOS, and we had over 1 month 3.5% up. So really liking that. And somebody recommended some other funds, so I'm still looking into those, and I might have some follow-ups on that. But really, that's all I wanted to cover today. Talk about what's going on here with my portfolio, Wpay, and what my next moves are going to be. So thanks for watching, sticking around. Hope you guys enjoyed us. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. It doesn't really take much. You just click the little button, but it helps these videos reach out to more people, and hopefully that'll be helpful for them. So have a great evening, folks. Take care.